Hello, and I'm Dave Johnson, and welcome to Off the Court, along with, Wizards head coach Scott Brooks. Again, this is our brand new weekly question and answer series involving you. It is exclusive to season ticket members right here in the DC 12 Clubhouse. Each and every week, we connect you with somebody involved with Monumental basketball. I'd say Wizards head coach Scott Brooks is somewhat involved with Monumental basketball as we get set for the 2021 season. And I hope you enjoyed us last week for our first installment with Wizards general manager Tommy Sheppard. It was great to visit with him. It is so great to see Scott Brooks. And I think about, so many memories over the past few months with you. Your daughter, Lexi, your hair's coming back in. She was cutting her hair, and that was benefiting the Monumental Sports Entertainment Foundation, the benefit of the frontline workers. A big smile on your face. We'll start off by how you doing. That's my question to Scott Brooks.
Dave, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Yeah, it's been interesting times right now, but yeah, that Lexi video that I cherish that. It's actually a pretty cool that I will have forever and she will have forever. And my hair is growing back. It's not growing back the fast as I would like it, but doing well. My family's good. Everybody's good. I miss definitely this time of the year would be getting, second or third week of training camp, and definitely miss that. But hopefully I'll get back to normal pretty soon.
And you look good. You're still going on those fitness runs. Again, is it Lexi that you're running? Who are you running with?
I don't know if you call it a run. It's a very slow jog. Still doing it, trying to stay in shape, but it's just good to be outdoors and working out.
Again, well, and that's so good to stay healthy during this period of time. And again, this is the DC 12 Clubhouse. I've got questions submitted by season ticket members, so we appreciate that interaction and that support. And believe me, we appreciate everybody staying with us on this journey. And before we get to some of the questions, really the last time we had talked is we completed the time in the NBA bubble. And I didn't want to talk about the play per se, but just give you, as we got caught up with so many games, that really was quite an accomplishment of all your players and all your staff to go through the NBA bubble, because the NBA made history. As somebody said, as the Lakers just were crowned champions, maybe the biggest stat was 0 COVID-19 positive tests during that period. You were part of an incredible history-making sports accomplishment.
Yeah, that was incredible. We were going into it, we all had a little concern and didn't know what to really expect, but give the credit and the big shout out to all the NBA personnel, all the detail that they put in. I mean, it was incredible. We had a great experience. We're one of 22 teams. We didn't like our record, but we did a lot of good things down there. A lot of improvement. A lot of younger guys playing bigger minutes with some of our key players and important players not being there. But overall, I thought it was a great experience. It gave us a couple of months of basketball that we can get together and play and work on our games and work on some of the things that we needed to work on, and then just getting the bond that we had with one another off the floor.
Hanging here in the DC 12 Clubhouse, and as you mentioned, and everyone that is watching has been on the journey with us. They know what accomplishment it was to be one of those 22 teams. It was not easy to cross that line. I'll get to one of the questions right away. Was there anybody in particular or the way the team played that surprised you in the bubble? Because that's what we talked about. It was important to get those couple of months to see players again before we move on to the next season.
Well, the things that I love about the team, they continue to show in the bubble, is the toughness and not making an excuse. We knew that we were going to be playing against the best teams in the NBA because those guys were all fighting for playoff position and seeding, and we were fighting to get into a play-in game. So with that being said, I thought our guys really worked hard and did a lot of good things. Thomas Bryant really, he took his game to another level. When you have a team full of young guys, that you want them all to mature overnight and be 27 right away. But it takes time. You have to be patient. You have to continue to coach and teach. And you're going to have a couple of steps forward and you're going to have some going backwards. But I thought he took a step forward on the defensive end. We all know we need to be a better defensive team. We can score the basketball. We have some good shooting. Tommy's put a team together that's pretty good offensively. And John Wall is going to come back, so that's going to add to that. But defensively, I thought Thomas Bryant really took a big step inside the bubble.
And no surprise, that's obviously one of the questions from the season ticket members about being a better defensive team. And you just touched on something. Often defense starts right there at the point with John Wall. So having him back, it would seem, would help that cause.
Well, not taken away from the guys that we have or had last season, but John Wall is elite. He is the elite. He's 6'4", 210 pounds, and he's strong. He's strong as a bull, and he's tough, and he gives you that presence. He has a force and a determination that only a few players in the league at any position have. So not having him for the last 2 seasons, and then being able to see him and see his work and his development, that's going to improve our defense right there. But I thought the guys conceptually picked up some things, and we've learned some things with our guys and certain things that we can do better and certain things that we probably shouldn't even do. We played some zone, and I thought that has worked, and that's going to continue to work. But, with our guys coming back, that's definitely going to be a key part of our training camp.
So again, as to the question, you've identified things just from that time in the bubble of how you go forward to be a better defensive team.
Yeah, exactly. We have some opportunities, one in the draft, one in free agency, and then organically with our players and developing. That's what I like to do. That's what our staff does. We're constantly in communication. This is a different time with, COVID, with being able to work with players, but we're trying to do as much as we can. But it's definitely something that we need to improve on. And I thought in the bubble, what the thing that we happened in the bubble, we had a lot of great competitive games. We just have trouble closing games. That fourth quarter, some of the players, and some of these teams had a couple of all-stars on the team, and we just could not we weren't able to, make that next step to close out a game. But, we had a lot of growth in the bubble that I'm very proud of.
And that, again, that's no cliche. That's part of the growing process, that those games you lose one season, the next season you win because you were in that experience. And this is a great question from one season ticket member, because that bubble was such a unique experience where you were so close with the staff and the players. Is there anything in particular you learned about yourself during that time, or it was such a different rhythm with the players? Did you learn something about certain players that you can share? Because often we're in those rhythms of getting on the bus, going to shoot around, and you don't have that kind of time that you have. Anything stick out?
Yeah, it was just quite frankly, it was weird. It was just strange. I mean, we basically all wore the same clothes, Wizard gear everywhere, every day. We all jumped in the same vehicle, a team bus. There was no luxury cars in the parking lot. We basically ate the same meal every day. And I loved it. I loved that part of it. It was a routine that we'd probably, hopefully would never, ever experience it again. But it was a routine that I enjoyed. I enjoyed being around our guys. You get to see them all throughout the day. I mean, I would walk in the morning, early mornings, I'd see a couple of players. I walk at night, I'd see a couple of players fishing or jumping on one of those platoon boats, and just the ability to, it was just different. But I would not, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I definitely miss my family, and we all did, but we were all in the same boat, and there's just no way around that. I mean, sometimes I wonder if my family missed me. But I definitely miss my family. But the experience and the journey that I had with our group of guys made it very fun to be around.
Yeah, literally, sometimes you were in the same boat, no doubt, down there.
Exactly.
But just to dovetail on that, as you've been at this a long time with teams and groups, and it doesn't matter, and people watching might be your business, you don't always get that dynamic where people actually do like to be around each other that much. It could turn the other way, and this turned out to be, the joy never seemed to stop from this team.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about from the start of training camp last September, is to play with a lot of energy, play for one another, play with the joy that we all love the game. That's why we started the game at a young age, and we're able to have that. And I will say this: I've been on teams as a player, and I've coached teams that, if you didn't get along, those, couple of months in the bubble, it was going to be a nightmare. And I knew going into that, we were going to have trouble, not being able to see family. But I knew we were going to get along, because this is what our team's about. We're building our, going through the building process together. and our players are going to challenge one another and work hard for one another. And we did that. Not saying that it was always easy, because it wasn't, but it was always, we always knew what I was going to get every day when I was in front of our group.
You know, it's an interesting question, and this is what you do for a living, talking questions about helping players reach their full potential and in turn have the team reach its full potential. Imagine that's the answer to that question is probably based on each individual player. And is that the secret in coaching and finding ways to maximize as you get a blank canvas with a player, and what can you do to make him better, to make the team better?
Well, Dan, there's no substitute from work. I mean, that's a cliche, but it's so true. I mean, you can't go to bed at night and say your prayers and come back, an all-star, or take a drink a supplement drink and become an all-star. You got to work at it. And some of the players are very gifted and they have great skill, but those players don't make all-stars teams or become high-level players if they don't put the work in. So this is the time to do it in the off season. And this is unique because of what's going on in the world, but you still got to improve and you still got to work on your game. And that's why we're always in communications with our players, because the key to coaching is to get your players to become better each day. And you try to do that through encouraging and empowering them. But the key is making sure that they're putting the work in and doing it every day, because those habits are created in the summertime or now in the fall coming into this next season. And my job is to be able to group it all together, see all their improvement, and figure out the best way we can put 5 guys on the floor, pulling for one another, being in that, that pulling the rope together. And that's the fun part. And, health is important too. There's no way around that. We know that firsthand, but seeing John and being with John and being around John, that's a big start, going into next season, seeing his improvement, his health, and, getting our guys together once again with the growth that we've had over this past season.
Again, a lot of questions about certain players, and you mentioned Thomas Bryant, but Rui Hachimura, how do you see his role right now? What did you learn from the bubble that period of time?
Yeah, that he's a mature young man, that he understands the value of work and the importance of getting in and putting your work in each day. He has that lunch box, that hard hat mentality, and he does his job. He's so consistent as a rookie. I didn't even look at him really as a rookie from when we drafted him and took him in the summer league and then in the training camp, and he earned his starting spot. He was just it was meant to be, supposed to happen, but he worked at it. He worked on his game, and I saw some improvement coming in into the bubble, and I thought he played well during it. And unfortunately, he got hurt the last few days, but nothing serious. He's back to working out, and I expect to see him, just from an IQ standpoint, an experience standpoint, he's gonna get better as a basketball player, and it's gonna help our team grow as well.
Again, the value of that bubble, you can't substitute the competition he was going up against this past summer, so that no doubt made a difference. Hey, listen, also, what excites you about Troy Brown going into year 3? Now he's played every position but center, I think.
Exactly right. We're going to have to have him do the jump ball next season. The thing that I love, we had him, we drafted him, what was he, 18, just about 19. So just seeing his body kind of change just through that process of aging. I mean, not aging, he's 21, 20 now. Yeah. So, I mean, we know how the body processes through aging, right? But just to see that, and then to see the things that he's picked up on, the experience that he has had. He didn't play much, started playing, got hurt as a rookie, came in this past season, got hurt again to start the season, but played well, started, didn't play well, came off the bench, played well. So he's seen a lot in his 2 years, and I think that's going to help him going into year 3. I got a lot of hope that he's going to continue to improve in his body and his quickness, and that's going to also improve over this remaining off season. And coming into next season, he's going to fight for a starting spot, but more importantly, he's going to give us good minutes and productive minutes and winning basketball minutes, whatever position that we throw him in as.
And of course, a big part, and this is always a question that comes up, and it's always no doubt, on everybody's mind within the organization as you try to get better. How do you view the need category in terms of free agency, draft? What's your take on that as you work with everyone in the Monumental basketball department?
Yeah, I mean, Tommy and I talk all the time. How do we improve our team? And the number one thing we talk about, we improve it within, and we have to continue to work with our players, build our players' habits, and continue to grow them as winning basketball players. And we have a good group of guys that have high character. They play for one another, but we also have an opportunity coming up, next month in the draft. There's a lot of good players. Every year, somebody, jumps out that, not maybe a lot of guys don't know about, didn't expect much from them, but every year there's always one or two players, middle of the draft, late in the draft. So there's an area. And then free agency, we're always looking and always trying to add to our team. But, we definitely need some defensive toughness, and we're going to continue to build that within, and then we're going to add to that. And I think we have that and have some of those pieces, but we're always looking to improve our team.
And a question about the Capital City Go-Go and how that's been used by Monumental basketball and the job Ryan Richmond, quite frankly, did last year. Whatever was going on there at the Entertainment and Sports Arena in Congress Heights, every time a player was called up, they did their role, sometimes played 2-3 games a weekend. It really was seamless. I don't know if it was not like when you played, if a player got called up from the CBA and had to catch a flight from Sioux Falls.
Right. It was the craziest thing. I mean, we had a couple of guys that even the NBA gave us like an emergency exemption, which I've never been around that. And they started for it. I think both of them did. Jonathan Williams at one time, and then, AP played big minutes. Garrison Matthews played big minutes. GP played big minutes and started. But Ryan did a great job with the Go-Go. And I think it was also so cool to go there, to see the excitement, to be in the gym, to see our players work in practice, and then be able to, when we were in town, be able to go and watch them play. And I thought Ryan and his staff did a great job, but it helps. It helps having that right in our backyard and being able to have players play in the G League and work with the players in the G League. And, for also John Wall, he had a lot of practice time with the group, and I think it's helped his game.
Now, as we visit here and off the court in the DC-12 clubhouse, as you think about next season and some of the things we just talked about, what, as you speak to our supporters who are with us every step of the way, what is the message, whether John Wall, Bradley Beal coming back? If you put it all together as a coach, when you sit down and reflect on the Washington Wizards right now, what's the message that comes to your mind?
Well, I think a couple of things, Dave. One is that we miss our fans. We miss playing in front of them the last part of the season, and we're hoping that, everything goes well and we can get back in front of them. And most importantly, we want everybody to be safe. We will do our part, and we'll get our team better every day, and our players will continue to be high character, hardworking, great teammates, and great ambassadors into our community. And we're going to continue to work on those areas to get better. To coming into next season, my job, our staff's job, and our players' job is to play hard for our fans. We want to get in front of them, and we want to be there with them night in. Capital One Arena. We want that buzz. We want the energy in the building, and we miss it. Bubble was interesting, and it was fun to be around our players, but it wasn't the same. And every player will say that, every coach will say that. We all miss being in front of the fans. And NBA fans, the NBA product is the best in the world, and we know one day we'll be back in front of them. But in the meantime, we're going to continue to work and build all the great habits that we will have our fans be proud of.
Every broadcaster misses fans too. I mean, nobody wants to hear my voice. I'd rather the crowd drown out my voice.
That's not true, Dave. That's not true.
Hey, listen, don't forget, I got a big question coming up here for you, Scott, so be ready, okay?
All right.
But
Give
season
me some
ticket members,
softballs, man. You have some tough questions, man. I need a softball.
well, I think you're going to get this one. I think you'll hit it out of the park. We surprised Tommy with a question last week as well. Again, season ticket members have the opportunity to win great prizes each Thursday in our new DC-12 Club Trivia Challenge. Our winners last week, Michael Bushnell, Robert Athmer, and Nilson France. All right, this week's DC-12 Club Trivia Challenge question for you, Coach. You ready?
Oh, no. I'm the worst at trivia.
No, trust me, you'll get this one. Since you spent a lot of time living in DC, you even let me walk from your apartment one time. What has become your go-to restaurant since living in DC?
I have a couple. And I hate this. I have actually more than a couple. I have like a top 10. I love Zaytina's. I love Olla Mills. I love RPM. I love Capital Burger. I love it all. I go down, there's so many cool pockets in DC. And my son, my family, my daughter, my wife, we come out, we walk, we try to experience different pockets and different communities. And it's like really strange wherever you go. You totally feel so removed from being in a big city. But there's so many great restaurants, so many different flavors. And, being in California, it seems like, and I'm making fun of the California restaurant world, but it seems like wherever you go, it's basically the same food. It's just a different name. But in DC, you can have a different taste just about every step that you take on every block. It's just a great place to live and a great place to be. And the food is incredible.
So I guess the answer is all the
That's
above.
why I love walking. So I can eat as much as I can and not gain a lot of weight. But it's easy to gain weight if you don't put the time into your steps.
All right. So we learned here at the DC 12 Clubhouse that Scott Brooks doesn't cook and that you go to every restaurant in town, right?
All I have is beverages in my refrigerator. I do not cook.
All right.
Cold cereal with some oat milk.
I think we're going to get a lot of suggestions for even more restaurants for Scott Brooks. Hey, listen, Scott, stay well. Cannot wait until we see you again in person and connect with you and get set for the 2020-21 season. That's not easy to say, but you know what I'm saying. And again, I appreciate the time today in the DC 12 Clubhouse.
Dave, thank you, man. I appreciate you, the team, and our fans. And we want to get back. We want to play in front of our fans in our building, but hopefully that will happen soon. But in the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy. All the best to your family.
Well, and again, can't thank everyone that's watching this for their support. We thank you for tuning into Off the Court in the DC 12 Clubhouse. And again, thank you to the season ticket members for just amazing support, connection. As always, you can reach out to me on Twitter at Dave J Sports as we stay connected and look forward to next season with the Washington Wizards. And next week's Off the Court, a bit of a different look from Los Angeles. You ready for this? John Wall will join us from Los Angeles next week. An exclusive look at one of his on-court workouts, rather, for John Wall next week. So make sure you check your email to submit your questions as John Wall joins us on Off the Court. Again, our thanks to Wizards head coach Scott Brooks, and a special thanks to you for watching Off the Court.